is News 3 Now at 6.
Thank you for joining us. Republicans in Wisconsin are saying not so fast when it comes to the slow rollout of election results. Today, they appealed a federal court ruling that allows absentee ballots to be counted nearly a week after Election Day.
Well, the extension could help clerks deal with a much higher number of absentee ballots, but it could cause you a little confusion. Jamie Perez asked the Dane County clerk to clear up some of those questions. Jamie?
Right, well, if the appeals court rules in favor of the Republicans, that means that all absentee ballots must be in on election night in order for your vote to be counted. Now, both the city and the county clerks told me today that they have been preparing for this since April, and they will be ready either way. They said their plan right now is to prepare to count all ballots on election night. Here in Dane County, absentee ballots will be counted at polling location sites, and they've taken extra steps to ensure that results can be released as quickly as possible.
One of the things we've done is we've added more machines. So if you're a lot of polling locations, there'll be one machine that voters will be using to cast their ballot and another machine where poll workers are feeding absentees in, and that way one's not getting slowed up by the other.
Clerk Scott McDonald also said you can track your ballot online at myvotewisconsin.gov. He asked that people please not call the clerk's office because it only doubles up their work. He said go online and you can follow the entire process there. And his advice for voters, if you are concerned about your ballot being counted, he said do not worry about this court ruling. The only thing that you need to worry about is requesting your ballot early and turning it in as soon as possible, or you can always vote in person.
Jamie Perez, live tonight. Jamie, thank you. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visits the state capitol, addressing lawmakers in an appearance that Democrats are calling a campaign speech, violating the norm of mixing politics with foreign policy. But the secretary tells News 3 Now in an exclusive one-on-one interview he's addressing attempts by the Chinese Communist government to influence state politics. Secretary Pompeo warned lawmakers to push back against Chinese Communist Party influence and blamed China for its role in the pandemic.
It reminds us that authoritarian regimes are prone to cover-ups. That's how this virus began its travel all across the world, with a Chinese Communist Party that disappeared doctors and wouldn't let journalists talk about what was really going on at the most critical time and juncture in the expansion of the virus. The Chinese covered up for this virus. We expect that they will be held accountable for that.
Democrats contend the administration wasn't ready for what followed, and 200,000 Americans have died since. We talked about a number of issues with Secretary Pompeo, including China, election security involving Russia, as well as Israel, as well as his future and much more. You can watch the full interview Sunday on For the Record, 10:30 a.m. on News 3 Now.
Senate Republicans are seeing this trip as an advantage for Wisconsin farmers and businesses, but Democrats disagree.
Amy Reed live at the Capitol with their reaction. Amy?
The Senate president said this is the first time a Secretary of State has addressed the state legislature. Republicans were able to ask questions, while Democrats avoided the appearance, instead criticizing it as a campaign stop.
It's given us an eye-opening experience to recognize that we're not immune to this kind of influence here in Wisconsin, and there's work that we can do.
Senate President Roger Roth said the visit from the Secretary of State gave the legislature a lot to consider next session when it comes to influence from China.
Well, he raised some interesting things that we can look at, particularly when it comes to the investments that we have in the Wisconsin retirement system. Some of the companies that were invested in are Chinese-owned state-run media.
The visit was critical of China, a key trade partner for Wisconsin farmers. Pompeo said the current talks will lead to short-term hits, which Roth believes will be worth it.
We can't go on like this. There's going to be a short-term hit, and they feel that, but their hope is that we can get it right. They know if we can get it right, Wisconsin can compete with anyone in the world, and we'll beat them at their game, and that's really what our hope is.
Democrats, meanwhile, are not only critical of how trade is going, but Pompeo's decision to visit in the first place
is a distracting, attention-sucking, wasteful demonstration of desperation.
Bewley said the Wisconsin people don't want this. They want action on coronavirus and other problems the state is facing.
They need stability. They need reassurance. And what do they get? They get Mike Pompeo coming to address the Wisconsin Senate about trade policy with China.
The Senate president is hopeful about what this trip will do for Wisconsin's future. He said this allowed legislators to get in Pompeo's ear, so he'll be thinking about Wisconsin when he's making deals.
Amy Reed live at the Capitol. Amy, thank you.
After a dry spell, rain is back in the forecast. So let's check your first warn forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Yeah, we'll probably see it about this time tomorrow, but up until then, we'll stay mainly dry. The live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows hazy sunshine over southwestern Wisconsin. You can see a visible cloud track. Not much in the way of clouds today. There have been some mid and high level clouds coming up from the south. That's a little bit of moisture that's been lacking, at least across our part of the Midwest, and some other clouds to our north and west. But right now, most of the shower and thunderstorm activity is occurring over parts of central Minnesota. By tomorrow, though, we'll start to see showers and thunderstorms by mid to late afternoon. Temperatures right now, mid to upper 70s over southern Wisconsin. Madison at 74, Janesville 73. And by tomorrow morning, we'll be down to about 54 or 56 here in Madison with partly cloudy skies. Skies will turn cloudy for tomorrow. See some scattered showers and thunderstorms later in the afternoon. High temperature at 74. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that includes more showers and cool weather for next week.
4 people filed a federal lawsuit demanding Facebook prevent militias and hate groups from using the site after a militia group used the platform to lure armed people to protest in Kenosha last month. The plaintiffs, including the partner of one of the 2 protesters who was killed, argue that Facebook received more than 400 complaints that a group called the Kenosha Guard was violating the social media site's community standards, like their ban on inciting violence. The group called on armed people to guard property in Kenosha after several nights of protest over the police shooting of Jacob Blake. The lawsuit claims racist and hateful rhetoric on the Facebook page influenced amateur militia members, including Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old charged with killing 2 protesters, to come to Kenosha.
They've had ample warning, and they really need to be held responsible for what their platform allows these militia groups to do.
A spokesperson for Facebook issued a statement saying they have no evidence that suggests the shooter followed the Kenosha Guard page or that he was invited to the event page the group organized. Kenosha businesses impacted by the civil unrest in the wake of the police shooting of Blake may be eligible for no-interest loans of up to $50,000. That money could pay for cleanup, restoration, and repair costs. Governor Evers, along with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, announced an additional $3 million in microloans on top of the $1 million announced earlier this month.
One of the 3 officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death faces criminal charges tonight, but those charges are not linked to Taylor's death itself. A Kentucky grand jury indicted former Louisville officer Brett Hankerson with 3 counts of wanton endangerment in the police raid, but the charges are for shots fired into other apartments. The jury announced no charges against the other 2 officers in the case, and tonight many in our area are reacting to the news of her death, with a representative from a Madison nonprofit, Urban Triage, saying, quote, "The verdict doesn't surprise me, and this is the reason we will continue to fight every day," while a Madison defense attorney says Hankerson's actions were reckless.
In Wisconsin, we have a similar charge. It's called reckless endangerment, first degree or second degree. When you act in a way that exhibits, if you will, indifference to life.
And we'll hear more from attorney Chris Van Wagner at 10, and we'll keep an eye out for any protests or rallies forming in Madison as well.
The 2-week quarantine at 2 UW-Madison residence halls is now lifted. An email from University Housing to students at Whitty and Celery Halls says there's been progress in the number of COVID-19 cases because students were limiting interaction with one another, and that in order to avoid another increase in transmission, they should continue to socially distance. Any students who violate the rules, like wearing masks at all times, except in their dorm room with the door shut, could have their housing contract revoked with no refund. The university confirms 23 new COVID-19 cases today, all among students. The campus moved to an all-virtual learning model 2 weeks ago, and officials say some classes may return to in-person or hybrid instruction beginning on Saturday. Also on Saturday, some in-person activities will resume in the unions, dining halls, recreation centers, and libraries.
Across the state, there are 1,900 new confirmed cases today, an additional 56 hospitalizations, and 8 more deaths. DHS data shows all 72 counties in the state have been classified as having high levels of disease spread. Today's statewide positivity rate, about 13%. 7-day average sits around 17%. According to Reuters, Wisconsin has the 2nd highest rate of positive COVID-19 tests in the country. Next at 6, tips to avoid COVID fatigue, and a look at the newest member of the Madison Police Canine Unit, named after a special little boy. Stay with us.
Replacing your windows with Renewal by Andersen is easy. We're here when you need us, and we'll work with you the way you want. We can inspect your windows from the exterior of your home. And when it's time to install your new windows, we complete most jobs in as little as 1 day, minimizing the amount of time in your home. Our teams take health and safety seriously. It's the kind of experience you've come to expect from the Renewal by Andersen name and the promise you deserve with our signature service.
Wisconsin is a home of workers. We know what needs to get done, and we do it. Yet, we've been hit hard, some harder than others. Our contact may be limited, but we still can lift each other up. The Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy providers are working together to help keep your heat and power on. You may not ask for it, but we want you to know we're here.
I was sworn into the United States Senate in a hospital. My wife and daughter had been killed in an automobile crash. And lying in the bed were my 2 little boys. I couldn't have imagined what it would have been like if I didn't have insurance to cover them immediately and fully. 40 years later, one of those little boys, my son Bo, was diagnosed with terminal cancer, given months to live. I can't fathom what would have happened if the insurance companies had the power to say, last few months you're on your own. The fact of the matter is, healthcare is personal to me. Obamacare is personal to me. When I see the President of the United States try to eliminate this healthcare in the middle of a public health crisis, that's personal to me too. We got to build on what we did because every American deserves affordable healthcare. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Health experts say compounded stress and exhaustion from worrying about the coronavirus is leading to what they call COVID fatigue. As a result, healthcare providers are seeing an increase of people who are feeling defeated, burned out, and engaging in risky behaviors that can increase the spread. Patients are also reporting higher levels of depression, anxiety, and alcohol or drug dependency. A UW health psychologist says the next challenge is to flatten the mental health curve.
Move in the direction of things that bring joy, positivity, delight your spirit. Think about finding new and even old things that you can engage in, activities, hobbies, things you can look forward to as the winter months unfold to help you really move in that direction, and that can help you get back in the driver's seat.
Dr. Mergain offers other tips like choosing to make physical activity a priority and avoiding what she calls doom scrolling or staying glued to social media and news that's focused on the issues our country is facing.
Doing something good might help you get out of a rut. It's a shot. How about cleaning out your closet to support our Coats for Kids campaign? With another 173 donations, we're up to a total of 1,264 coat donations. We are looking for winter coats of all sizes, but especially for infants and younger children. Every year at distribution time, the demand for those smaller sizes exceeds the supply. So if you have a coat, snowsuit, or other winter accessories your child no longer wears, please consider donating it at any Clinky Cleaners location. New at 6, the Madison Police Department is getting ready to introduce its newest police dog. Canine Officer Dominic is named after a little boy who loved dogs, loved helping others, and dreamed of becoming a police officer. After 5-year-old Dominic lost his life in a tragic car accident in 2018. His family inspired others to join them in creating Dominic's Ripple. It's a charitable organization focused on acts for the greater good in the Madison community. One of the organization's first goals was to sponsor a police dog in Dominic's honor. The department will present Canine Dominic with his official badge during a ceremony at Elver Park on Friday afternoon. Talk about doing something good. We'll be right back.
Right now, get free delivery with Hy-Vee Aisles Online. That's right, get free delivery in September when you order Hy-Vee Aisles Online. You'll find more time slots available so you can get your groceries when you need them. The freshest items, your favorite brands, and the same prices and deals as in store. Plus, unlimited delivery is available with the Hy-Vee Aisles Online membership. Get free, no-contact delivery in September from our delivery partner, DoorDash. Download the Hy-Vee Grocery app today.
Transform your garage with products from Menards. Ideal garage doors bring new life to your garage with styles ranging from traditional to modern. Save today with 11% off all Ideal garage doors. Finish your project with Rust-Oleum floor coating kits. They create a showroom quality surface that protects your garages, basements, and more. Right now, all Rust-Oleum floor coating kits are 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Today, I stand here to announce my bid. I'm pledging that everyone gets 35% off store-wide, and you can get an extra $100, $200, or even $300. Because at Steinhafels, the more you buy, the more you save. So come on down to Steinhafels and exercise your right to quality furniture.
For our seniors, Social Security is a sacred obligation, a sacred promise made. The current president is threatening to break that promise. He's proposing to eliminate a tax that pays for almost half the Social Security without any way of making up for that lost revenue. I will not let that happen. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
It's no secret, Robertson is Wisconsin's aesthetic leader. But with results this natural, patients can keep it a secret if they want. Our secret to reducing stubborn body fat? Cool Sculpting. Book a free consultation to learn how Cool Sculpting is different at Robertson.
If you're hearing a grinding or squealing when coming to a stop, it's time to have your brakes checked. Meinickie's 23-point inspection will identify the problem and get them in working order. Stop in or make an appointment online today. Meinecke, doing car care right.
Jill Biden will be visiting Wisconsin for a campaign event on Monday. The campaign has not released any details about this trip yet. Today, the Democratic presidential nominee's wife visited the Badger State virtually as part of an event with Democratic Representative Ron Kind. This comes after Joe Biden's visit to an aluminum foundry in Manitowoc 2 days ago.
Today marks the first day of public services for the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last week at the age of 87 from pancreatic cancer. Crowds of mourners came to the U.S. Supreme Court to pay their respects. Justice Ginsburg was honored for her history-making work pursuing equal rights for all Americans. As the nation continues to honor her legacy, President Trump is preparing to name a successor. He appears to have the support from enough Senate Republicans to get a vote on his nominee, despite opposition from the Democrats. 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden called the rush to push through a nominee an abuse of power. Today, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson said he agrees with the president that the Senate should confirm his nominee before the election.
You know, here in the state of Wisconsin, we had a federal district judge basically say, we're going to keep counting ballots to come in, 7 days after the election. So unfortunately, because we are going to have such an increase in absentee ballots and mail-in ballots, and states aren't set up for it. They're not allowing enough time. And you've got, these activist judges that are just making up law in a whole cloth. We could have a real mess on our hands come election day, and we just might need a fully staffed Supreme Court to weigh in here and hopefully do what's right by the law.
President Trump is expected to travel to the Supreme Court tomorrow to pay his respects to the late Justice Ginsburg.
We have some rain in the forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti.
But mainly for tomorrow, I think we're still looking at generally dry weather for the rest of the time into Friday. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms about this time tomorrow from mid to late afternoon into the early evening hours. Dry weather will return for Friday, but mild weather will continue through the weekend with highs upper 70s Friday, mid 70s on Saturday, and around 70 degrees on Sunday. Average high temperature now is in the upper 60s, but cool weather will return for next week with high temperatures in the 50s for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and also some shower chances in there as well. Fall color report shows that leaves are starting to change in the northern part of the state. Those areas in yellow, between about 25 and 50% of the leaves have changed colors. Southern part of the state right now, less than 25% have changed. To the north, there have been a few showers and thunderstorms up in central Minnesota. It looks like a little thunderstorm trying to develop south of the Twin Cities, but
but they are still fairly dry across southern Wisconsin. Eventually, we'll see better chances for some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. And the tropics, look at this, no tropical weather systems out there. I can't remember the last time we could say that. It's probably about almost a month since we've not had any named tropical weather systems out in the Atlantic Ocean. Weather track right now shows those showers and thunderstorms right along the jet stream in the northern part of the Midwest. The southern branch of the jet stream, the subtropical jet stream that carries more of the moisture, staying down to the south with showers and thunderstorms from the remnants of Tropical Storm Beta, now moving through Louisiana into Mississippi and western Tennessee. But on the surface weather map, there's a stationary front to our north and a couple of areas of low pressure. Eventually, we'll see these areas of low pressure move eastward, and that will start to bring a little more in the way of thunderstorm chances as that front draws closer to us. South of the front, winds are out of the south. North of the front, they're generally out of the north or northeast, but the front really never quite makes it this far south. It gets close and then just kind of hangs up and dissipates over the next day or two. Temperatures right now, mid-70s in Madison, La Crosse still at 80. You can see out to the west, temperatures a few degrees warmer, some low 80s over Minnesota. Over the next 10 days, temperatures will be above normal through the weekend, but then drop below normal as we head into much of next week. Average high temperature, again, goes from 68 down to 64 by the end of next week, so we're definitely in the fall season. So our forecast calls for mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, not quite as mild with a high of 74. We'll see some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances in the afternoon. On future track, the morning we see the clouds move in, but the shower and thunderstorm chances tend to arrive mid to late afternoon tomorrow, and then they'll move through pretty quickly. So tomorrow evening things will wind down. We might see a sprinkle or two overnight, but generally cloudy skies will give way to some sunshine on Friday, and temperatures will be back up into the upper 70s. Rainfall amounts generally will be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. There might be a few spots that pick up over an inch and a heavier thunderstorm. The better chances of that will be south and west of Madison. Otherwise, the mild weather, as I said, continues through the weekend, and then next week those temperatures drop off. Highs only in the upper 50s, mid to upper 50s from Tuesday through Friday. Some shower chances in there, and then we'll turn a little milder toward next weekend.
And coming up in sports, the Badgers opened up fall camp with an attitude of gratitude. Like Paul Chris says, there's a little more appreciation this season. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Stock up during the 10 for 10 sale this week at Hy-Vee. Mix and match any 10 of these items for just $10. Like bird's eye vegetables, nor pasta or rice sides. And Hy-Vee tortillas are all 10 for $10. Only at Hy-Vee.
Joe Biden tried to cut Social Security and Medicare for decades.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Now, Biden's promising your benefits to illegal immigrants. President Trump is protecting Social Security and Medicare, lowering costs, expanding access, keeping his word.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Working out? Not canceled. Catching up? Not canceled. Game night? Not canceled. Nap time? Not canceled. If new carpet would make you happier at home, we're here to help with standard carpet installation of just $75. Carpet one room or your whole house. And installation is only $75 while we celebrate our 75th anniversary. Coil Carpet One Floor and Home. Locally owned and operated since 1945.
At Papa Murphy's, we make fresh pizza that you bake at home. Because home is where the fun is. For a limited time only, get the Combo Magnifico Pizza for just $10. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Why do Black Americans knowing they could lose their life in the course of just living their life?
Part of freedom is to be free from racism and all of its manifestations.
They deserve to be treated with dignity. They gotta know we're listening.
Reforming policing in this country means creating a national standard on use of force and hold police officers accountable.
We have such an opportunity now to change people's lives for the better. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Stock up during the 10 for 10 sale this week at Hy-Vee. Mix and match any 10 of these items for just $10. Like Hy-Vee Special Recipe Brats, Hunt's Ketchup, and Smart Water are all 10 for $10. Only at Hy-Vee.
Hi, folks. Thursday morning, Madison's going to get an update on the status of the future public market.
We're taking a closer look at the new potential vendors and what your family can expect when the doors open.
We'll see you starting at 4:30 on News 3 Now this morning.
Isn't that a sight for sore eyes? The Badgers are officially back. Wisconsin started fall camp this morning, and they also released their fall camp roster. John Dietzen has come out of retirement to rejoin the team, while Reggie Pearson is out indefinitely. Head coach Paul Chryst said Pearson is dealing with a medical condition that was discovered in the offseason, and he isn't cleared to play. As far as the rest of the guys, well, it's good to be back.
You don't want him ever to take it for granted, but this is a year where you certainly wouldn't, you couldn't take it for granted, right? Because you thought you're getting ready, and we thought that even with just missing spring ball, like, boy, it's been a long time, can't wait to play again. And so I think that urgency, I think they've always had that, but I think there is a gratitude to, being able to play.
The Packers' Wednesday injury report is out, and two guys didn't hit the field today. Kenny Clark, who's been out since the Vikings, and Devontae Adams. Now, Adams has a hamstring injury, and those tend to be a little tricky. On Sunday, after he tweaked it, he wanted to go back in, and Matt LaFleur decided not to push it. This week, it's the same mentality. But Aaron Rodgers isn't too worried about his top wideout missing some reps in practice.
I think if he doesn't practice, I would feel completely comfortable if he wakes up Sunday morning and says, I'm going to play. I think we'd all feel great about it. It's physically, is he going to be ready to go and feel good and confident? But if he does by Sunday, shoot, I want him out there. And I don't care if he practices at all.
After rushing for a career-high 168 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 18 carries against the Lions, Aaron Jones has been named the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. Through 2 games, the Packer running back leads the league in rushing and is tied for the league in touchdowns. Last year, T.J. Watt was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year. This season, he's out to win it. In just 2 weeks, the former Badger has been named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week twice. Last week against the Broncos, Watt finished with 2.5 sacks, 4 tackles, and 4 QB hits. Fresh off winning his 2nd straight MVP award, Giannis has been named one of Time Magazine's most influential people of 2020. Talk about a great couple of weeks for the Bucks superstar. Defensive Player of the Year, or Player of the Year, first team All-NBA, the league MVP, and now one of Time's 100 most influential people. And if the season ended last night, the Brewers would be in the postseason and play the Dodgers in a best-of-3 series. But it's not over yet. They have a chance to improve their position in the standings. Just have to keep winning. Right now, the Reds are actually up 2-0 in the 3rd. But if you're the Brewers, you don't want to play the Dodgers in the first round.
I'd take that over sitting at home. Right? You'll go to the playoffs that way. Right?
You will go to the playoffs.
Let's go to the playoffs.
It might be pretty.
We don't want to listen to Gary talking about the Cubs for the next month.
And they're what, 218 team batting average?
Oh, Gary.
It's terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, they're winning the division, Gary. Let's get to weather.
Well, here's a pretty picture. There's the sun setting in the west. This is the live view from the WISC TV Skycam. Temperatures right now, mid to upper 70s over southern Wisconsin. Look for some thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon with highs in the mid 70s. Then mild through the weekend, but cooler weather and showery weather for next week.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.